We have the latest on the Red Canyon fire, still holding at more than 100,000 acres.
Until the fire crews could get here, we were able to do what we could.
And how residents kept flames at bay as the roaring fire approached. A dramatic rescue in the Beartooth showcases a life-saving partnership between Billings firefighters and the Army National Guard. But first, a firefighter battling the Bivens Creek fire in southwest Montana dies in the line of duty. The MTN 430 news starts right now. Good afternoon. Thanks for starting your week with us. I'm Andrea Lutz. Tonight, a firefighter battling the Bivens Creek fire in southwest Montana has died in the line of duty. Officials say the firefighter suffered a cardiac emergency Sunday while working on the fire line. Despite immediate medical aid, resuscitation efforts were not successful. Northern Rockies Team 6 and state and federal agencies say they're profoundly saddened by the loss, calling it a tragedy that impacts the entire wildland fire community. Support is being provided to fellow firefighters on that fire and the nearby Cloud Rist fires, while the Madison County Sheriff's Office is investigating. Tonight, containment on the Red Canyon fire near Thermopolis is climbing, now at 75%, with crews shifting into patrol and mop up. But for one couple, the fight to save their property came down to their own hands. Our Hannah Pettiferi has the first-hand account of how they beat back those flames.
It makes a roar.
That's how Jennifer Axtell described the sound of the Red Canyon fire.
Wind and a crackling and a rolling all at once.
The fire started near Thermopolis, Wyoming on August 13th.
We saw a lightning strike back behind the hill, and that's a concern this time of the year.
It got out of control fast. I think it was wind and the conditions, and it's a hard thing to stop.
Jennifer and Chip jumped into action to save their land.
Until the fire crews could get here, we were able to do what we could.
Their neighbors also helping the fight.
We had 2 tractors, about 3 vehicles full of people. I had my water tank in the back of my truck.
Chip and others cutting their own lines to prevent the fire from jumping.
And the next day, we just went to a different place where the fire was threatening, and we cut fire lines around where it was coming to. And
the wind playing a pivotal role in the direction of where the fire was going.
We were successful in stopping that from coming any further this direction, and it was definitely with help from the wind.
Incident Commander Jay Mickey says they now have lines around the fire.
We got about 125,000 acres of fire.
And they've moved into repair mode.
Those are lines in areas of the fire where it's cooled off, and we feel like we can repair it as close to back to normal as it was before the fire started.
This area is covered in family ranches, and every acre of land is important.
This fire affected a lot of the ranchers, and obviously grass is very important to them for their cattle operations and things like that.
We spent this last Thursday and Saturday processing our calves and running them through the corral and making sure they were okay.
Jennifer and Chip say they are grateful for all of the help.
We're extremely lucky. There are people that lost so much more than we lost. And
everyone just pulled together,
yeah,
and worked really hard and had a common goal.
In Thermopolis, Hannah Pettiferi, MTN News.
Here's a live shot. Take a look at the Stockman Bank weather cams around the region. You can see a clearer sky around Miles City over towards Sydney and just a little bit of a breeze. Bozeman Pass, only a few clouds, but look down towards Hart Mountain, Park County, Wyoming. We've got a little bit of haze around, and we're going to see that over the course of the next few days. Temperatures in Sydney are up into the 70s to around 80 degrees, and we're seeing that typically around the region as well. Now, as far as the smoke impacts, it's not that much. At this point, we're seeing some haze, especially through areas of southwest Montana. That could become a bigger concern as we start getting later into the week. And temperatures this morning were chilly. Check out readings that were into the 40s across the eastern plains, low 40s into North Dakota.
Record-breaking heat continues to scorch the west tonight, fueling dangerous wildfires and forcing evacuations. More than 30 million people are under extreme weather alerts as flames spread across California and Oregon. Bradley Blackburn has the latest.
In Northern California, intense flames are challenging fire crews and forcing the evacuation of hundreds of residents. In Napa County, winds are fanning and expanding the picket fire, which has consumed more than 10 square miles. It was just 11% contained Sunday, though officials say they are managing it.
Although it looks scary and we had a lot of resources moving around, it did do a lot of good things, which is actually helping us out in the containment of this fire.
Smoke spread into many of the region's famed vineyards, threatening wine production.
It's the smoke on the grapes. The quicker they can get this thing out and the smoke can leave, we can make good wine again.
For many, the wildfire threat is now all too common. As the flames push near, Michael Hogan evacuated.
Just necessities for a few days. We're kind of tired of this.
Farther north in Oregon, the flat fire has consumed more than 20,000 acres. An extreme heat warning in Portland extends through Tuesday after temperatures topped 102 degrees.
Very hot. Yeah, hot and miserable.
In Sacramento, kids cooled off in splash parks as millions across the West try to handle the heat.
Inside with the air conditioner.
A scorching summer that's fueling fires. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says his country will not lose its war with Russia as it marks 34 years of its independence. U.S. Special Envoy Keith Kellogg was in attendance at celebrations during which Zelensky awarded him the Ukrainian Order of Merit of the First Degree. President Trump sent a letter praising Ukraine's, quote, unbreakable spirit. Ukraine declared its independence from the Soviet Union on August 24th of 1991. President Trump has already sent the National Guard to Los Angeles and Washington, D.C. Now he's hinting other cities like Chicago and Baltimore could be next. Joe St. George explains why expanding the mission may not be so simple and what it could really target.
The National Guard in Washington, D.C. is now armed as it continues President Trump's directive to fight crime in our nation's capital. But the bigger question this week is, where will President Trump's quest to curb lawlessness go next? He's mentioned New York, Chicago, and now potentially Baltimore. Over the weekend, President Trump intensifying his rivalry with Democratic Governor Wes Moore of Maryland. Governor Wes Moore of Maryland has asked in a rather nasty and provocative tone that I walk the streets of Maryland with him. I assume he's talking about out-of-control crime-ridden Baltimore, President Trump wrote on Truth Social. I will send in the troops, which is being done in nearby D.C., and quickly clean up the crime, the president added. Governor Moore responded Sunday.
The last time the homicide rate was this low in Baltimore City, I wasn't born yet. I will never activate members of our National Guard for theatrics.
Trump's threat of sending the National Guard to Baltimore comes as the National Guard continues to patrol Washington, D.C., which has seen a moderate drop in crime since Trump's directive took effect. Trump has previously talked of soon moving into even more American cities like New York, and he said this about Chicago last week.
Chicago's a mess, and we'll straighten that one out probably next.
Over the weekend, the Washington Post reported how the Pentagon is involved in drafting up plans to possibly deploy to Chicago soon. The Chicago Tribune reported Sunday that local and state leaders in Illinois who largely opposed Trump met to discuss how they would respond, including Illinois' Democratic Attorney General.
Turning the military against the American citizens in cities on American land is unprecedented, and it's unheard of.
Under federal law, the president is allowed to deploy the National Guard under certain circumstances. Many Democrats have said, though, that that threshold has not been met. If the president expands the National Guard to other cities, it will likely be more difficult for him, at least from a legal perspective, than it has been in Washington, D.C., since Washington, D.C. is not a state. Joe St. George, Scripps News Group, Washington.
A dramatic mountain rescue in the Beartooth is highlighting a unique partnership between Billings firefighters and the Army National Guard. Billings Fire Department paramedic Gershbach was part of a search and rescue flight team called in after 3 hikers went missing near Princess Lake. Crews had no location information, making it the first mission where the joint Billings Fire and National Guard team tracked down lost hikers from scratch. After hours of searching, the hikers were located and airlifted to Columbus, where Columbus Fire took over. Officials say it's a success story that shows the value of this life-saving partnership. And new tonight, dramatic video of another high-stakes rescue, this time out of northern Minnesota. Crews in Voyageurs National Park put their brand new State Patrol helicopter to the test. And as Ashley Graham shows us, it made all the difference.
over Minnesota.
Voyageurs National Park, it's a lot like the Boundary Waters. There's no development. There's no roads.
The Minnesota Air Rescue Team is on a mission.
When you get up there, it's lakes and trees as far as you can see.
Yeah.
This team of 2 and a pilot responded to a call for help from a remote campsite earlier this month along the Canadian border and hoisted this woman experiencing a medical emergency to safety.
It was like kind of like the capstone to all the training that we've been doing over the last several months.
Robert Greger is the rescue specialist in the black helmet.
The efficiency that we get with the new hoist capabilities that we have on the team, it's almost immeasurable.
Those capabilities are thanks to a new State Patrol helicopter unveiled last month.
Rescues past, years past, we would have had to go find a landing zone suitable to put the helicopter on the ground and do some further rigging of our rescue equipment.
That's not the case anymore. Jeremy Barta, a systems operator, says they no longer have to stop, land, and prepare. Instead, the team can move right into hoisting the person in need once they arrive.
When seconds matter, we saved minutes.
And this isn't the chopper's first rescue. Back in July, the Minnesota Department of Public Safety says a vulnerable man was pulled into the helicopter from this vast cornfield in LeSueur County. For this team, it doesn't matter where you are when you call for help.
They find themselves sick or hurt, or in Voyageurs or any of our rural areas where ground crews can't get there quickly, we can.
Ashley Grams, WCCO News.
Tech companies are giving us artificial intelligence, but ironically, the tech sector itself is among those feeling the most pain from AI. Investors say the rise of AI tools that can write and develop code is sending shares of software companies into a slump. Analysts say the tech industry might have anticipated this shift, but likely didn't see it happening so fast. Southwest Airlines is changing its seating policy for plus-size passengers. Starting January 27th, plus-size flyers will have to buy an extra ticket, and it might not be refunded either. The second seat will be non-refundable unless the flight departs with at least one open seat. The move is the latest in a series of changes for Southwest. The carrier also ended its open seating policy and implemented checked baggage fees.